Well, well, well. I don't even know if this is working. This is definitely not who you expected to see tonight. Wait to see if I see one comment. There it is. First, Jim. Jim's in here. Thank you, brother. Oh, what a damn day, huh? Obviously, Mike, I'm not used to talking to myself. I mean, I do. I've been talking to myself all day, frustrating, stressed out. You know, I'm talking to you, Mizzou and Vandy. I'm talking to you, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Who else had some stressful? Arkansas, Auburn. Very stressful football game today. Feels like I'm missing one. It's just been like that on the edge all day. It's just very, very frustrated fan bases out there, very excited fan bases, and we're starting to get a little bit of a separation. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that, but we're starting to find a little bit of fool's gold out there, and we're starting to find out that, man, some teams are just pretty damn good. So welcome to the latest episode of That SEC Podcast. I'm not SEC Mike, but we are doing Mike's list. So I want to be crystal clear here. Don't get pissed off at me. Mike is out joyriding out there in Norman, Oklahoma, probably drunk off his ass, but he sent me this list, told me to kind of go over it with you, and we'll just go from there. So I'm probably going to mess this up. Been drinking all day. This probably wasn't a good idea. I don't even know why Mike thought of it, but go balls. All right, man. So again, real quick, if you're new to the show or you're new to the power rankings, it's pretty simple. If Team A were to face Team B on a neutral site, who do you think would win? So that's kind of Mike's criteria when we're looking at where we're at in the power rankings. Again, it is not my list. This is Mike's. So let's go ahead and start out number 16. I don't think this is a big surprise, but Mississippi State is going to be our number 16 team today. You know, there was some moments in this football game, the storylines. You know, I've put up my little Aflac trivia question earlier about Ron Zook. If you don't remember, Ron Zook's final. Well, not his final game, but the day he got fired was a loss with Mississippi State. So that was kind of lingering in the background. But Coach Napier did exactly what we thought we would, and that's expose just how bad Mississippi State is, mainly on that defense side ball. I think if I were ranking defenses in the country without seeing the other teams, I could tell you this is probably top 3 worst defense that's floating around out here. Chapin, of course, he had moments. I don't want to say it was all doom and gloom. Well, shit, I probably shouldn't have led with that because he is out. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but we did get to see Van Buren come in a little bit toward the tail end of this football game. You know, I see the vision. I see exactly what we're trying to do here. It's frustrating if you're a Mississippi State fan. Wasn't too many at the stands this football game, but you know, I do see what we're trying to do. It's just we don't have the weapons. We don't have near the talent. We don't have the depth, and we're already starting to have some key injuries and key places, and it's going to be a long season. I'm kind of with Mike here on the 16. I would say there's very few football games you're going to win this year, and I feel like you already know that. But again, there's some silver lining. There's some young players starting to emerge. Again, this Van Buren, he popped up. Maybe we get something, but I don't want to spend all day talking about Mississippi State. So number 15. The team they played, Florida, they're back, baby. You know, everybody thought Billy was going to get fired during this game. Not me. In fact, I thought this was the start of a redemption tour. Billy came out here, did exactly what we needed, and that is prove the naysayers wrong. Florida Gators, they looked statistically good. You know, if you like 3-yard passes, I think Mertz leads the country in that, but I think they only had 2 or 3 incompletions during this football game. This is exactly what every team should do against Mississippi State. So I would hold off on the parade. But maybe, just maybe, we should give Billy some time. I just think I'm looking here at some of the stats. I mean, I'm not saying Florida's a bad team. All right. I think we've all said that, but I feel like they needed this. They needed a start. Everybody's totally against the Florida Gators right now. You've got nothing to lose. I mean, Billy may be dead man walking, but doesn't mean we can't go down with the fight. And I love the fact that he's starting to get some of these younger players involved. Again, this is a football team that's going to need everybody, all hands on deck. The schedule doesn't get any easier. I mean, we're starting to get into the meat of this thing. But Florida, 15 spots, so that's enough on Florida. Right there above it, Mike's favorite coach, Hugh Freeze, there at Auburn on the Plains. This game, obviously I called it, this is my lock of the week. But Auburn is, they don't have a quarterback. I mean, they have no pulse. In fact, it was almost as if we wanted to get a quarterback out here that would hurt the defense the least. There was 5 turnovers in this thing, and I have no idea. It feels like we took 5 steps back. And it's not just players. Again, it's easy, we've talked about Hugh blaming the quarterbacks, or blaming the players, but I think you got to blame the coaching staff on this one. There was some just terrible play calling in this football game. Really scratching my head, just trying to figure out what we were doing. Auburn has no life on the offensive side of the football. Hunter should have probably transferred, had a success somewhere else. But I really worried about Auburn. The fans were there, and that's what sucks, man. Jordan Hare was rocking at the start of this football game. We've been promised a good football team. We were promised a good coach, and here we are 4 weeks into this thing, and it is an absolute train wreck. We've got that's enough. That's enough on Auburn. I get carried away. Again, I've been drinking. I probably shouldn't talk too much. We will have a recap show tomorrow. Brains of the operation will be back. So let's move on to the next one. That's Kentucky. Kentucky's at the number 13. Again, this is Mike's list, not mine. I wrote a few notes down here on Kentucky, and I guess one of the things that drives me nuts is just the gusto of Stoops is non-existent. I don't know if he needs some testosterone shots or something like that, but you're going against freaking Ohio. There's no reason that we should not go for it on 4th down. We should be taking chances. You want to look for growth and development of your young quarterback. This was a perfect game to do that. And I felt like at times we didn't have it. Brock, I don't know if he survives this football season. I've never seen a quarterback take so many hits. He is going to be in, if not concussion protocol, within the next couple of weeks. He may be retiring early because this is an absolute bloodbath on that. The offensive line looked like shit. I mean, I'm just saying like it is. I was promised the big blue wall was coming back, and we didn't see that. So, but I will. The silver lining, the good side, defense. I thought the defense was fantastic. You got probably the best kicker in the country. So there was some good things with Kentucky. And I hate that defense gets overshadowed by the lack of execution on the offense side of the football. But number 12, Vanderbilt Commodores. I don't know if it's because Mike really didn't watch this game, but obviously, I'm very impressed. You ask any Mizzou fan, they're pretty damn impressed by the Vanderbilt Commodores. I felt like there was a lot of fight. There was a lot of grit on this football team. We just talked about Auburn. It has no quarterback. I guarantee if you would have moved him down there, if Hugh would have said after he got his ass kicked by him last year, said, hey, won't you put on an Auburn jersey, we may be talking about a different situation down there on the Plains. I mean, this kid has got some fights, got some grit. Defense was I mean, they gave up some big plays, obviously, but they rattled Mizzou, and this thing went to overtime. If you didn't get to catch this game, you missed a hell of a football game. Very, very stressful if you were rooting for Mizzou in this situation. I had a lot of money on that one, but I will say this: Vanderbilt is going to catch some teams off guard. In fact, they should have had this win. And if you ask any Mizzou fan, coach gave them an excellent opportunity there at halftime, right before to get a stupid field goal, made this thing competitive. But Vanderbilt just, if they had some more weapons, if they had a little bit more depth, they would have walked away with a victory today, a top 7 victory. But Vanderbilt, number 12, number 11. Oklahoma. So Mike was there. So he sees what Oklahoma is. Oklahoma's got a fantastic defense. If you didn't watch the football game, I don't know what the hell you were doing. This is a really, really good Oklahoma defense. A lot of people said, are they SEC ready? I will say that side is. Now, I was a little bit leery about the offense. In fact, about halftime, well, you guys know, I don't think the Oklahoma offense was ready, but we did a lot of growing up today. I think we found ourselves a quarterback. I think if you're a Sooner fan, you are a little bit more confident moving forward that you've got a fighting shot here in this conference. Again, you went toe-to-toe with a top 7 team with the Tennessee Vols there. Very good defense. An electric, explosive offense. I mean, that's all we heard coming in this football game was how Vols were going to lay 100 on you, and you couldn't. Tennessee, I mean, they were very disruptive on that defensive side. And again, it's the life. How could you not watch that football game and see that if you took advantage of some of those damn opportunities, the fumble in the red zone, actually both Nico's fumbles, you squandered that with stupid mistakes and giving the football away. We may be singing a different tune right now. I may be a couple more beers in if you had a different quarterback starting this thing. So Oklahoma's they got, it ain't getting easy. I think let me pull up their schedule here. They've got one of the toughest schedules. I don't have it pulled up, but Hawkins is your guy. Tough bastard. I really enjoyed watching him play today. He's going to have to learn to slide a little bit or he will not make another football game, but a lot of fight in that bastard. All right, number 10, my Arkansas Razorbacks. This was a good game if you were an Arkansas fan or if you had money on this thing, which if you were listening to my locks of the week, you're welcome. 3-1. Razorbacks, brother. I talked about how shitty the coaching was on the Auburn side. There was a moment in this football game where Green got benched, and at first I was scratching my head like he's giving you the best opportunity to win, but that little pullout was the best thing that could have happened. It let him reset, it let him recalibrate, and it's these little coaching decisions, these 3rd down, 4 downs. There was a lot of crucial short yardage situations that you just knew Green was going to get the first down. And I'm not saying it's all him because honestly, it was the defense that really wowed me in this one. I think they had 5 turnovers in here. They were just all over the place. It seems like any tip ball, there was 4 or 5 defenders ready to catch the thing. So Arkansas, this was a huge win. This is a team that should be sneaking up to top 25. In fact, they should be 4-0 right now. Should have had that Oklahoma State game, as everybody knows. But I don't know. I'm really excited about the future of this program, and just because, at media days, this was the most depressing fan base to talk to. I'm not going to lie. Just there was a lot of give up already. We were talking about basketball, and now we're seeing a little bit of spark on the football side. I don't like my AD coming out here telling me I need to donate. I had some Dino Nuggies earlier. You're welcome, Tyson. So, but I just think that there's moments, that there's moments that Arkansas may surprise a few football teams. I'm looking at that Tennessee game. There's an opportunity. There's like a 100-point over-under on that thing. A lot of points going to be scored. So let's go on down to the next one. This is probably a lot longer than it's supposed to be. Texas A&M, number 9. Frustrating, I got my notes here. I was kind of looking at, for starters, I don't know what the hell y'all doing on offense. I don't want to bash coaches, but I thought Colin Klein was going to make this thing fun. I thought it was going to make it exciting, and it was a very, very vanilla style offense. And I see people talking about, hey, maybe they're saving up for the SEC, but you almost lost this damn football team. Connor Bazelak almost got another SEC victory, and it was pretty embarrassing. Now, there was a sloppy turnover there at the end of the game that kind of made it a little more interesting than it should be. But if you did watch it, I know you're scratching your head. I got a lot of Aggie fans and cousins out there that I follow, and I see the frustration. What is the identity? I thought we had our quarterback, but the honestly, by the third quarter, I think maybe we should go back to Connor. I don't, not saying that Reed can't do it. I just feel like he needs a little bit more development and possibly help the Aggies. So again, you snuck away with a victory here. You shouldn't be fighting tooth and nail with a Bowling Green football team. I felt bad for the fans for even showing up for that damn thing. I need a drink. I need to slow down, take a drink. I'm not used to this stuff, so obviously, if you've already tuned out, I apologize, Mike. If I'm tanking the ratings, this was your idea. Who do we got here? Number 8. Any guesses? Because you're probably right. Mike's favorite football team, the LSU Tigers. I'm not saying we send Blake Baker back, but no, I'm just kidding. The start of this football game was super frustrating because I saw some really good moments, especially from Garrett Nussmeier. I don't think he's getting the credit he deserves. He's a very, very good quarterback, and honestly, if we didn't have a couple of key drops, in that first half, we may be even talking about a different score here because I felt like we were playing with our food. We kept UCLA in this thing. UCLA is not a good football team. People were booing at half. People were out on Kelly. I felt like they redeemed themselves a little bit in the second half, but LSU's got a little bit of an uphill battle here. So, but again, I saw moments, I saw flashes. We got the running game going. I felt like that was a part of mainly that USC loss, but we shouldn't be struggling against these football teams. You can't be a top 16 team and play like this. Again, you got the win. Congratulations. Let's move on to the next week. But you play like this, you're going to lose a lot of football games this year. Let's see. What do we got after LSU here? Number 7, Mizzou, M-I-Z. What the hell was that all about? Huh? I don't know. I saw a tale of two halves. Here's my thing, and I'm not saying we bench quarterbacks, but we saw it today. We saw several quarterbacks not so much lose their job, but maybe got a new perspective. And I don't think this is the same Brady Cook. There's something off. You see it. There's just terrible passes, leading guys. I mean, he's getting his receivers killed at times. I felt like he's nervous, like it's his first start or something like that. And I don't know if he's been reading the press clippings and expecting, great expectations, worried about a Heisman and thing like that. And hell, we're probably a lot to do with that too. I think Mike had him number 1 on his QB list, but maybe we should take his phone, take his social media, just let him live there at the football facility, get back to running because that's working. And I don't know. I think we should also address maybe some of these divas in the wide receiver room. I'm not saying they are, but I felt like there was a little bit of disconnect from them and Cook. So again, I think we need a reset, like a hard reset, get back to fundamental football here. Mizzou's got the talent. They got it on offense, and thank God their defense showed up. Other than one, especially in the second half, other than one long drive, that defense saved their ass. The special teams got them there at the very end. This should not have been an overtime game, but it was. But, we've been saying this now for 4 weeks, well, maybe this is the wake-up call they needed. Well, this is the wake-up call they needed. Life doesn't get easier after this. You play like this against Bama, you're getting your ass smoked. You're playing like this against Team B, Team C, Oklahoma. Oh, you play like that against Oklahoma, you're getting your ass kicked. So I feel like there's a disconnect, mainly on the offensive side of the football, and it's got to get correct, and it's got to get fixed immediately, or Mizzou's going to have a long season. That forget the aspiration, forget college football playoffs. You need to go back to that old school 1-0 mentality, one team at a time. So forget the end of the year accolades. Those will show up if you keep winning. But all right, sorry, Mizzou's a little near and dear to me, as you guys know, and they played like absolute shit today. South Carolina, number 6, came out here, did the job. I think Robbie was pretty impressive. If you even watched this football game, you give him a little time. He's actually a really good quarterback. Shocker there. Hated that Rocket went down. Coach came out after the football game, said that it is an ankle and it shouldn't be long term. So hopefully this bye week, there's a lot of guys, him, Sellers, a lot of these guys banged up. I think South Carolina needs a little bit of a break, but this defense still legit. Offense did exactly what they needed to do. This is a game you have to have. This isn't an Old Dominion coming down to the wire. This is a game you should put away, and they did a great job there. So South Carolina, I'm glad to see you move up the list. Number 5, Bama, you didn't do anything wrong. You just took a week off, but everybody's talking about these next two. So Bama and Georgia, I'll go ahead and get them out of there. Georgia at the 4 spot. Again, this is Mike's list, not mine. I think these teams are very good football teams. The best part is you're going to hear it all week. It's already started. I saw it this week. There's a lot of people already talking about this football game. It's going to be awesome. So we'll give them some more airtime as we go on. Number 3, Ole Miss. Ole Miss Rebels, you did nothing wrong. It's just nobody watches you. I'm sorry, but we're 4 weeks of shitty teams, and we're still not. Kentucky is your first SEC. In fact, you've got nothing but SEC matchups moving forward. So you're going to get your shot to shine. Jackson came out here, did exactly what he needs to do. I think he's got 10,000 passing yards already for the season. So they're doing good. The defense is my favorite part. Goes a little bit under the radar, but I think their defensive line held their rushing attack to 8 yards. I don't care if you're playing a high school football team. That's very, very impressive. So Ole Miss, you're probably going to move up this list. It's just you got to play somebody, as we always say. Tennessee, number 2. I think he's a little biased because he was there. He's feeling that big orange love, but Tennessee's defense legit. I know they had a couple little breakaways there in the second half, but I'm not worried. Nico made some mistakes. I'm worried about health. That I think if you're looking at Tennessee Falls, that offensive line took some hits. Speaking of hits, whoever maintains that turf needs to get his ass kicked. I'll say that. And I think I'm not saying that's the reason that Oklahoma is battling some injuries, but damn, there's some serious turf issues going over there. But I'm a homer. I'm going to say that. Yeah, Tennessee made some mistakes here, but they did bounce back. Nico made some awesome throws. I'm not worried about Tennessee, but I am a little worried about the play calling late in this game. It felt like there was an opportunity for Heupel to really put his foot on the neck, and I didn't. I saw a little bit of a reserve. I saw a little bit of chewing up the clock. That's not coach, so I don't know if that's a sign of where he was at or the whole situation, or he just didn't have confidence in certain playmakers. But I don't know. I didn't see the stretch that we've seen in some of these other football games. Obviously, we had a tough time running, but this is a good football team that should be able to find yardage elsewhere. And so Tennessee at 2, a little high. I'll admit I'm Tennessee homer, but so again, it's Mike's list. Number 1, Texas Longhorns. Again, they didn't play really anybody today. It was good to see Arch out there. He threw an interception, so now we know he's human. But after that, it was just all ass kicking, and defense legit. Defense may be the best in the country, and the offense did nothing to disappoint. So there's our list. I'll start at the bottom again. Mississippi State 16, Florida 15, Auburn 14, Kentucky 13, Vandy 12, 11 Oklahoma, 10 Arkansas, 9 Texas A&M, 8 LSU, 7 Mizzou, 6 South Carolina, 5 Bama, 4 Georgia, 3 Ole Miss, 2 Tennessee, and 1 partridge in a pear tree. No, Texas. All right. So let me try to figure out. Let's see. I got a few minutes here. I'll answer a couple of these questions if I can figure out how to do that. I'm sure there's a good way to filter some of these. All right. So nope. I'm just going to go down to the very bottom. So let's just see what we need to do here. Sorry if I overlooked you. There was a coup and Cousin Shane took over. That's correct. Mike really wasn't at the football game. I was just kidding. No, he had a good time. I will tell you, I've not really got to talk to Mike since he's been at the game, but leading up to the football game, he did say he had an awesome time. A lot I think he hit a couple of tailgates. I know he had a couple of them swirly things. See, Mike just sends me food pictures, food and drink pictures, gets me all upset because I'm not there. But it looked like he had a really, really good time there. So I do know that it was a warm embrace, if you will, from the Sooners. So, all right, I'm just clicking on some of these here. Thank you, cuz. Moving to Knox from Boston in July for nothing, but love my Vols. Beer on me sometime. Appreciate that, brother. Went through several today. Very stressful. This was, this is what we signed up for, but we're starting to see a little bit of separation here, and you're going to have tougher competition. And I feel like we are starting to get a little bit better pulse of football teams in the SEC. Of course, I say that, and then it probably goes all out the window next week. So let's see. Anybody else? That moment. Let's see. Anybody ask questions? Anybody got questions? Just post it there at the bottom. I'll take a few more. Let's see. This one right here, is it good? Is Mike ready to start dumping on the Sooners instead of riding their jocks? Well, I mean, he did put Tennessee up there and he moved them down. So, I mean, that's a good telltale sign of what you think about Oklahoma. I don't know if Oklahoma, in my opinion, took a step back. I felt like they took a step forward. I was afraid that this offense would be even worse than what I saw. In fact, I thought the first half Oklahoma was exactly what it was. Really good defense and a terrible offense. But when we start seeing life from that side of the football, I don't know. I think if you're a Sooner fan, you're a little bit more excited. You're not out. This isn't the 90s anymore. You lose one football game, you're out. Oklahoma still has a great shot to make some noise in this league. We talked about them possibly being one of the 9-3 football teams that could potentially make a playoff. I'm not saying that happens, but their schedule's tough. Tennessee Vols is not an easy schedule, and getting them early. This may be a football team that gets better as we go. So let's see. There's here at the. I'm just clicking on the bottom. So the first one's Arkansas winning with Shane's lock of the weekend. You're welcome. Thank you for noticing that. 3-1. I get a lot of heat for the Grim Reaper picks, but man, I tell you what, I feel like that. I feel like I'm dialed in. If you will. I feel like I am the Texas Longhorns, and I just can't lose. So let's see here. Let's see. Here's one. This is kind of wordy, but hey, Tennessee got the win, but I will say being on your third string left tackle, if I'm not mistaken, this early in the season is not the best. That is correct. We obviously we had a little injury coming into this football game. We got several during this football game. That offensive line took some hits. May not have hurt us as much in this football game, but Tennessee's schedule is not getting easier either. And yeah, I did notice that. And maybe that had something to do with a little bit of that vanilla play calling there in the late second half, because we had a whole new group shuffled around up front. So let's see. We'll do two more here. MIZ playoff bound 4-0. Man, Mike is so good at this. You got to realize there's like a million comments over here, so I think I should probably just wrap it up before I say something dumb. But be sure to check us out tomorrow. We'll be on here normal time, Eastern time, 7 o'clock. Mike will be back on as well, so he's going to be a lot more organized than I am. But Yeah, this beer, the mountains are changing. I got to go. But love y'all. Go Vols.